Hello and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. What an amazing 2 days it's been at Swell, and we are coming to the finale, which is Brad Garlinghouse ending the Swell event with his speech with Bloomberg. He said he's going to be mentioning XRP and talking about XRP, so we look forward to that happening in about 10 minutes' time. Let's have a quick recap of what's happened so far during this event. Thank you for all of you guys who have tuned into this 2-day event. If you can do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe, we will cover all the events. Honestly, we don't take any corporate sponsorships. We care about our audience. We're live all the time, navigating the markets together, but of course, never providing any financial advice. Let's go over to some of the announcements made today. The first one, the big one made today, was this 500 million strategic investment at valuing Ripple at $40 billion. You double that on an IPO, you're looking at the most valuable crypto company out there, overtaking MicroStrategy, nearly overtaking Coinbase. If it IPOs, it's probably going to 100 billion, overtaking Coinbase, way above Bullish, way above Gemini, any crypto company you can think of. Ripple, with today's investment of 500 million, led by Fortress Investment Group and Citadel, is massive. They've got 95 billion plus in total Ripple payments, 1 billion plus in RLUSD stablecoin. That launched 1 year ago, 1 billion in a year. 6 strategic acquisitions completed in 2 years. Hidden Road, Treasury, Rail, some big ones now. 25% of shares repurchased. They're buying back their stock. They are bullish. 3 times growth in Ripple Prime business, 75 regulatory licenses globally, and Brad Garlinghouse replied to this and gave his own thoughts. He says 2025, without a doubt, has been an incredible year for Ripple and a record year for crypto as a whole. Although, remember, he's not a maximalist. Yes, he loves XRP, but he doesn't agree with maximalists just loving one coin and one coin only. That's why he doesn't like the Bitcoin maximalists, and he thinks it's toxic. Everyone works together. But of course, I'll come on to what his thoughts are on XRP. But he says, as crypto as a whole, Ripple have done so much for crypto as a whole. When they fought the SEC, when we fought the SEC, because the retail investors were part of it, we did our part here on the channel with our petitions as well. That was a win for the whole crypto industry. Anyway, let me continue from Brad's statement. He said, although we have a couple months left, this announcement feels like the cherry on top of a mountain of good news. I'm going to put the XRP chart on the screen as well right now, because what we've seen today is a massive move up on XRP's price with the Swell event. We've gone all the way from close to $2 to $2.38 in a matter of 24 hours. So congratulations to all XRP holders as well. I look at a long term, but I'm also very excited about the short term price action as well. Today, we have announced a $500 million investment into Ripple from Fortress Investment Group, Citi Securities, Pantier Capital, and Galaxy HQ, Brethren Howen and Marshall Wace at a $40 billion valuation. I've probably butchered all those names. I apologize. This investment isn't just validation of Ripple's growth strategy and a business built on the foundation of XRP. Brad Garlinghouse is making it clear to everyone, this business would be nothing without XRP. This business is built on XRP. Remember, buying XRP is not an investment in Ripple, but Ripple used the XRP. They used the XRP ledger, and in all their announcements throughout this event and all their speeches from all Ripple executives and staff, they've been saying the XRP ledger, not only do they use it because they want to, they use it because it's the best out there. And this is another rhetoric from Brad Garlinghouse. He's been saying this a lot lately, that this business is built on the foundation of XRP, but also a clear bet on what the future of crypto will look like. I'm very proud of what we built and what is there to come. So that's straight from Brad Garlinghouse, and we've seen Hidden Row now Prime, Ripple Prime. He reposted this as well. He said, I don't think very many people understand how big of a deal Ripple Prime is. Remember, Ripple Prime is what was Hidden Road, that 12.5 trillion payments. What's it called? It's a brokerage. It's not only going to be a huge business, it gives hedge funds like us unparalleled new tools to engage with markets. Getting on board has been one of the highest priorities at our Rington Cap for the last few months. So major announcements. Now we're going to be going over to Brad Garlinghouse with his speech as well. So we've got that lined up for you guys. So let's get that ready from Brad Garlinghouse. He'll be going live any second now. Here we go. We've got that event lined up here.
You haven't talked
so
about
let's
Tether may have made it look 10 years ago.
and that
For an entertainment company, a Disney
economy.
This isn't Brad Garlinghouse, so we're going to keep a hold of that, but this will be going over to Brad Garlinghouse. I'll be keeping a close eye on it. In fact, what I'm going to do is put it up here as well, so we can keep an eye on it over here. Let me tell you some other news today for Swell. This is important. If you are a real investor, let me tell you this. We have got a deal of the century. It is today only. In about 10 minutes time, this deal is ending and you won't see it again. In 10 minutes time, after Brad finishes speaking, this deal is ending. So it is your last chance to get part of this deal. Firstly, if you've just tuned in, it's a new stream. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. It's all free. And do you want something else free? Well, I'm going to give it to you. I quit my job to go out and give you the most real, most honest news out there. I saw too much fake news on YouTube. I saw too much fake news on X, and I thought we have to do something about it. If you're a fan of Ripple and XRP, I cover the news every time there's anything major to give you the real news. If you're investing in the crypto markets and in the stock markets, this is for you as well. This is a premium newsletter. However, you get a 60-day free trial. It's the first link in the description. It is also the link in the live chat right now. 60 days free. What do you get for free? I'll tell you exactly what you get for free. I'll keep that open as well. We'll flip between that and the chart. I know some of you want to keep an eye on the chart. The chart's there, but let's keep that open. So what do you get for free? Well, you get access to the newsletter, daily newsletter. Not many people do a daily newsletter. It takes 4 hours of research every day. What you get is access to exactly, today I just did a full analysis on day 1. Tomorrow I'll do a full analysis on day 2 of the Ripple Swell event. And you can go back and look at yesterday's because it's on the web, it's on the app. So you can go back and look at previous issues. So you'll get that in the short term. But every single day, you get the top 5 news stories at a glance. The first headline, so you can just look at your phone on your way to work, or if you just want to look at the top headlines, you can do it. If you want to look at it in more detail, you've got those 5 stories built. You can see it here. This is the top stories today at a glance, and then below it you've got the one big thing, the money move of the day, the market snapshot, what's going on in the markets, and then you can look at those top stories. There's 2 clear paragraphs with all the sources on it. You can check them out. There's 5 of them, and then after that you get the deep dive. The deep dive every day is macro, stock analysis, chart analysis, crypto analysis, and events. This one is 20 things you missed from day 1 of Ripple Swell. You got the 20 things you missed from day 1. You can go get it for free, 60 days free when you sign up with the annual plan. And then you get the economic calendar, what data is coming up, what tradable events are coming up, what do you need to keep an eye out for. You get the earnings calendar as well. You get the chart of the day. Today's chart of the day is XRP and where I'm buying it, what I think about it. Also, what do you get? It's not just the daily newsletter. You're going to get more perks and benefits. Your more perks and benefits are you can go back and look at previous newsletters and deep dives. You can have direct one-on-one DM access with me, so you can message me at any time of the day. And a portfolio journal is coming soon, so you can see what I own, why I own it, and how I think. So I'm going to bring my portfolio live to you, and it's not financial advice, it's not alerts, but it's exactly why I'm buying it. So there is your 60 days free access. You can do what you like with it. You can cancel it. Not many people do because they love the content. It's about 20 cents, 30 cents a day. Give up a cup of coffee a month and you've got the newsletter, but you also have it 60 days free. So there's no excuse. It's the first link in the description. We'll leave it running for maybe another few hours for anyone who's watching this later and not watching it live. But it's in the live chat right now. If you don't have it, I'll pin it above as well. So let's go over to Brad. He's coming on stage as we speak. You can do it in the meantime. Here we go, straight over to Brad Garlinghouse. Let me bring him back over here. Here we go. This is live, guys. This is fully live.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, staying through the day and staying through the event, really.
Finishing strong.
Finishing strong. Brad
Hit the like button and subscribe, guys. Brad Garlinghouse on stage.
And given that it's the day after Election Day, there's a lot to reflect on here because I think about how the 2024 election was such a game changer for the crypto industry. Breathed new life. It gave the industry a new lease on life, right?
For sure.
And Mike Novogratz was telling me on Bloomberg Television that the money from the industry swayed the outcome in 2024. I mean, it made a difference, and look at what's happened since. You've got a pro-crypto White House with skin in the game, a pro-crypto SEC. You have the Genius Act, which was passed on a bipartisan basis, and we know none of that happens on a regular basis here. So I'm curious, just to kind of start us off here, how pleased are you with the return on investment of the industry's political spending?
Everyone hit the like button and subscribe.
I should remind you, I was in that seat, the interviewer. It's a whole lot easier to be the interviewer than the interviewee.
It is.
But look, I agree with what Novogratz said. I actually, during the 2024 election cycle, I tweeted out something to the effect that the Dems were going to be led off a cliff by Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler. And I think the Dems underestimated how passionate and how large the crypto community was, and I think it did impact votes. So when I don't think about it in the words of a return on investment. I think about it as we as a electorate should care about the United States leadership in innovative technologies, in AI, in the early days of the internet, and certainly that's true in blockchain and crypto. And the fact that it became partisan, I will be mind-boggled this on my deathbed. Like, this is a technology that can help people and be used to improve financial empowerment. We heard some great panelists today talking about this and why we would be opposed to a technology. Now, people can use technology in ways we may not like, but we should regulate that, not the technology itself. And I think that the community of the industry leaned in. Ripple was one of the key leaders, alongside Andreessen Horowitz and Coinbase, to support a super PAC that elevated and educated voters about these issues, and it certainly impacted some elections.
And of course, the SEC's years-long campaign against Ripple basically went up in smoke following the election. You talked about Gary Gensler just now. You've described the SEC under Gary Gensler as waging a war against the crypto industry.
But that's it's Elizabeth Warren's words, and I mean, literally, I'm not making those words up. They said, we're raising an army to attack crypto.
So what would you say to Gary Gensler if you were to bump into him on the street or downstairs?
This is great, guys. Hit the like button.
I think actions speak louder than words.
So you wouldn't need to say anything?
Honestly, my honest view on this is I would not say, look, this is someone who I feel acted in bad faith. There wasn't an honest effort to engage and discuss. And I mean, you got to remember, this was when they sued us. I think many people would say, okay, you could see that maybe there's confusion about what is a currency versus a commodity versus a security. But one of the things they did that I find to be unethical is they sued me personally. And the way the law works is, for me to have violated the law, I had to know what I was doing. Because for a personal charge, there's a corporate charge, and Stu Alderoty sitting here nodding, so I'm getting something right. I feel like I learned a lot during that process. But the idea that I knew XRP was a security and acted recklessly anyway, it's just that's absurd. And they were just doing it to be bullies. And you have later on, you have even former chairs of the SEC going on TV saying that they intentionally waged pressure by going after executives. I just don't feel like that's the way the United States government should work.
So now
if I saw him on the street, I wouldn't say much. I'd say, hey.
And you turn around and
we
glare
love
at
Brad,
him.
guys. We love him. Hit the like button for Brad.
What does the removal of this psychological, legal, and financial burden mean for Ripple, the company? Are there any constraints, do you feel like now, on what you're able to do, on your vision, on your strategy, on your path forward?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll start with the thought. I don't think your question's about Ripple, but I think it's about the industry as a starting point. And I think we always, during the, when they first sued us, we said, this is an attack not just on Ripple, but on the industry. And at the beginning, people were skeptical of that. And I think most of the industry came around to understand that that was kind of one of the first attacks on the industry that, was the first of many. And so I do think that victory, which was long and hard fought, had a huge impact on unlocking the industry's ability to kind of move forward and play offense. Now, I do think, and as we've heard from various speakers today, there has been this massive sea change, and you're seeing institutions in this room who weren't here in years past, because now you have the US government taking a friendly view of this. But some of them still won't lean all the way in unless we have it codified with law. And the Clarity Act passed the House, not yet the Senate. As we talked about this morning with Patrick Witt from the White House, he believes and we hope that we get something past the Senate before the end of the year. But I think for the largest financial institutions to lean in kind of permanently, we need that final step.
Okay, so I mean, and we'll see when Congress actually gets back to work whether they can get that done. As for the company itself and what's at stake, it's allowed you to move forward with your strategy, and right now that's very much M&A. You've been on a buying spree, 4 purchases this year. Yesterday you announced the acquisition of Palisade, a wallet and custody firm founded by some ex-Ripplers.
Welcome home, after here.
Before that it was G Treasury for $1 billion, and then before that Rail for $200 million, and there was also the prime brokerage Hidden Road, which is now Ripple Prime. Walk us through the larger strategy. What's the unifying thesis here?
So Ripple aspires, and I think we are clearly in the lead, to be the blockchain infrastructure company, period. For the enterprise, for financial institutions. We started with payments, cross-border payments particularly, and that's still core to our strategy. Driving the velocity, driving the liquidity, driving the utility of XRP. We moved into custody, and that was an acquisition we made 2.5 years ago, a company based in Switzerland that really it continues to be the leading custody infrastructure for tier 1 banks, HSBC, BBVA, SocGen. We will continue to invest in that, and the announcement yesterday of a company called Palisade gives us more capabilities in that space to go beyond just kind of that tier 1 bank customer set. But we truly believe in one of the assets that I'm most excited about. We just announced G Treasury. Renat, the CEO, I believe, is here. He an outstanding entrepreneur. These guys are the dashboard for the CFOs of over 1,000 companies, and they see trillions of dollars of payments. They're that orchestration layer enabling that. They see hundreds of billions of dollars of deposits that are dormant and could be perhaps more useful if in a tokenized form like, let's say RLUSD. So, we have, I think, unlike other crypto companies, leaned into buying what I would call traditional finance assets. Hidden Road, the vast majority of their business is not digital. Certainly G Treasury, that's true. And we think that is bringing the bridge between traditional finance and kind of, we call it decentralized finance. So we're very excited about how those pieces fit together. I do think we'll probably slow down the acquisition binge in 2026, which makes
guys, if you are live, hit that like button, subscribe. This is fully live. We'll give you the full analysis. Hit that like button and subscribe.
We still got 2 months.
Do you have any ambitions to own a crypto exchange?
We looked at that a long time ago, and we are very happy investors in a number of different crypto exchanges. We invested at a time when there was reticence to invest. We involved with Bitstamp and Bitso and PDAX. I forget others, but that's a very different business than the one Ripple's in. We overlap a little bit. I think the crypto industry is going to have frenemies or competition, whatever we want to call those things. We don't compete with Coinbase, but a little bit here. They have their Coinbase Prime kind of thing, and they have some institutional customers. They obviously have a very tight relationship around stablecoins with Circle. But I don't see us entering the exchange market.
Well, speaking of Coinbase, how do you differentiate yourself from Coinbase, which is also positioning itself as a crypto vendor for financial institutions getting into crypto?
Well, but look, if I took a poll here in this audience and I said, how many people think of Coinbase as a consumer company versus enterprise company, their DNA where they started is they're a consumer company. And that's, I think, going to dominate how that company evolves. It's not to say they won't serve the enterprise, and that's great. I mean, one of the things, even as I've had the good fortune of being on Bloomberg a handful of times, I always am advocating for the growth of the industry. This is not a zero-sum game. This industry will continue to expand. And I've said very publicly, I think the Circle IPO, although we are a competitive Circle, I'm so happy that went well. That is great for me. It's great for the industry. And so I root for them. I root for RLUSD a little bit more. But I think that we as an industry have at times been holding ourselves back by that tribalism that just doesn't make a lot of sense. And anyway, I continue to combat that.
So today's news is that Ripple has just raised $500 million in its latest funding round, getting investments from Fortress, Citadel, along with crypto firms like Galaxy Digital and Pantera Capital. You now have a $40 billion valuation. So I guess that means you don't want to or need to IPO?
We need
Wow,
to.
big
A
question.
lot of companies go public because they need to raise capital. Ripple has had a very healthy balance sheet that has enabled us to, buy Hidden Road and buy G Treasury, et cetera. So it has not been a short-term priority for Ripple to get public because we haven't needed to raise capital. We could have raised a lot more than $500 million. We simply didn't feel like we needed to. I am, though, thrilled, and kind of back to one of the things I said earlier, having a Fortress and a Citadel, I mean, these are truly the leading financial players and architects of financial trading in the country. And so for them to come along with us as partners and allies, I think is a very big deal. And I'm thrilled. The corp dev team at Ripple's had a busy year.
What message does that send to Wall Street, to traditional finance, to crypto skeptics?
Get on board. We talked earlier today about the fact that there's still over 50% of the financial institutions in the United States have zero exposure to crypto. There's zero chance that that's going to be true a year from now. That number is going to continue to go down and down. And that is actually great news because that's tailwinds for the whole industry. Yes, I mean that's tailwinds for Coinbase, that's tailwinds for Circle, but that's also tailwinds for Ripple. So happy about that.
All right, let's talk about XRP. How does XRP fit into your larger M&A strategy?
Well, XRP, and I sometimes have to remind the world of this, but XRP is at the heart and soul of what Ripple is doing. We care deeply. We have called it our North Star. But at the end of the day, we want to do things that are good for the XRP ecosystem. We want to build trust in XRP. We want to build utility in XRP. And we want to build liquidity in XRP. And each of the acquisitions we do, in one way or another, we believe it will do those things. Now, it may not be, some people may look at it and be like, I don't really scratch their head a little bit. Well, I promise you that we see in the three-dimensional game of chess, we see how we believe that's going to evolve. Sometimes we'll probably do things that are more obvious and some less obvious. That's okay with us.
Right, there might be...
One of the advantages of being private is I don't always have to explain myself to public investors.
So that's another reason not to have the IPO anytime soon. But there are critics who might say that this pace of M&A, this blistering pace, is papering over the fact that organic adoption of XRP hasn't fully lived up to its potential. How do you respond to that?
Look, on one hand, I get it, and I would say again, macro. One of the challenges for crypto at large is the number one use case is speculation. How many proven scaled use cases of crypto on any token or any blockchain can you point to? And unfortunately, I do think the industry has to live up to the promise of blockchain over the next 5 years, 10 years.
Do you think that'll still be the case in 5 years' time?
No. I was in Saudi Arabia last week on a panel at the IIF, and this was my FII. That was my primary point. That we are finally, partly because of regulatory clarity, you're seeing more entrepreneurs, more investors, and it's very analogous to what happened in the earliest days of the internet. The 1996 Telecom Deregulation Act provided clarity and structure so that entrepreneurs and investors could come into the internet space and did the money flow in, and the entrepreneurs flowed in. And yes, we saw a dot-com bubble. I think as we get more regulatory clarity, you're going to see more institutions, more capital, more entrepreneurs. Now, on XRP specifically, look, do I think that we have room to grow? Absolutely. But if you told me 3 years ago, you'd have literally, I think there's 100 different interesting startups going on in different aspects, some even competing with the Coinbase on the consumer side. There's a ton of growth that's going on in the XRP ecosystem. Some of that Ripple has partnered with, some of that we have nothing to do with. And that is because I believe XRP is an extremely efficient blockchain. It's very fast, it's very inexpensive, and it's very scalable. We don't advocate that it's the right one size fits all, that you should do everything on the XRP blockchain. There's other blockchains that are going to be better at different use cases, and that's great. But we think that we'll continue to champion XRP use cases we think are uniquely good on that blockchain.
And it's because of that potential that we see that an ETF issuer set a spot XRP ETF will likely launch next week or shortly thereafter, even with the government currently shut down.
Wow.
We've seen that happen with the Solana spot big spot ETF
Hit
and
the like button,
Litecoin
subscribe.
spot ETF as well. What does having a spot XRP ETF mean for the coin specifically and for Ripple broadly?
Well, look, I think anytime you are seeing the kind of trust and institutional dynamic of an ETF, making it easier to access and bringing capital into the XRP ecosystem, that's good. It's not lost upon me, ETH as a token was kind of lagging the market in terms of the overall market activity in the spring. And then the ETH ETFs went live and ETH went on a tear. I don't think that's a big surprise. You saw people easier access coming in. I think the first ETH ETF grew to $1 billion very, very quickly. I can't remember the exact timeline. But I think you're going to see that happen in the XRP ecosystem because there's a lot of demand from people who don't have the skill set or interest in launching a Coinbase account or what have you, and they want to have exposure to this asset class. So I think it's overdue. It's frustrating that some of these things have taken so long, but I'm not yet saying it's going to happen next week. I know people on the panels have said it's happening next week. I've heard that said before, so I'm not going to count on it. But it's obviously very, very soon, and I think that's good for the industry.
You talked a little bit earlier about how you want to be at the intersection of traditional finance and decentralized finance. Ripple filed for a national trust charter back in July. Explain how this differs from a full banking license.
Oh, I'm not sure I'm the best person to answer that.
Well, I mean, why would you want to do this? Why would you be? Why would you want this national trust charter?
So I was on a panel in Washington, D.C. right after a guy named Brett McIntosh, who's the chief legal officer of Citibank, and who, by the way, is a great guy, former in the Treasury Department executive. One of the things he said is, look, crypto companies should be held to the same regulatory standard as the banks. I am totally at peace with that. I agree. But then he went on to argue that the crypto companies shouldn't have access to the Fed master account. Like, wait a minute. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, there are advantages that are good for Ripple, and by the way, good for society. People talk about the risk around let's say, RLUSD or other stablecoins depegging. Well, if we have a Fed master account and we have a deposits at the Fed master account, you actually improve the reliability and stability of stablecoins. That's a good thing. We should want that. So, look, I will admit that we haven't talked that publicly about exactly our thoughts on what a Fed master account and a charter license could mean for us. But suffice it to say, we think it will give us degrees of freedom in our overall strategy to kind of continue to build out the blockchain infrastructure.
I guess it's not surprising then that the banking industry is not exactly thrilled about this.
The bank doesn't want competition because they've done a shitty job of serving their customers.
The bank lobby is urging the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency to deny applications from crypto firms that are seeking these charters. What would you say to that?
I'd say the same thing. By the way, I mean very seriously. I think Brent McIntosh is a fabulous guy, great chief legal officer, but you can't have it both ways. Don't ask us to be regulated as a full bank and then not give us the resources that allow us to provide services and reduce risk, et cetera. Look, I truly believe, I've already talked about Coinbase and Circle, competition is good for the market. Competition is good for customers. Why would we be anti-competitive? I would happily be on any panel with any member of the bank lobby or bank executives, and customers deserve choice.
Everyone's protecting their vested interests.
I don't think Ripple's trying to protect our vested interests. We're playing offense and saying we want to grow, we want to build products and services that customers want. Look, I understand, but once you see an industry go into defense, that's the death of an industry. I think you have to innovate, you have to lead, and I think the banking industry has been on their back heels, and I think that's why crypto now exists. People want an alternative. People want the flexibility. We saw a great panel from the National Cryptocurrency Association with a woman up here talking about the benefit of having 24/7 access to your money. By the way, I'm guessing everybody in here has some story. I certainly do. When I go on, I execute a wire, and it takes me literally 30 minutes just to actually get the wire out. It's nuts.
30 minutes is an improvement from what it was 5 years ago.
So we're on the same page.
The Federal Reserve
Guys, if you're
recently
here,
hosted
hit
a
the like
payments
button,
innovation
subscribe. We've been
conference that
live
was
for 8
really
hours.
focused on crypto. What does that mean for the crypto industry? I mean, how has this shift affected your prospects? And I guess I'm curious what level of engagement you have with regulators on this.
I mean, Ripple leaned in aggressively into the kind of regulatory environment. And part of that we talked about in context of the super PAC fair shake that we supported. But it also, even since the appeal by the SEC was dropped, we've met with the crypto task force at the SEC. And I think people understand we have a unique perspective because of the journey we went through, which was long and expensive. We will continue to lean in. Ripple has been a compliance-first company from the earliest days, and arguably, controversially, Ripple took a pro-bank, pro-government point of view at the earliest days of the crypto industry, which wasn't popular amongst a lot of the crypto industry.
Yeah, you're kind of an outlier in that regard.
We are, and we were, and I think people have come around to the point of view that that was the right strategy, and people have kind of moved towards our point of view on that.
You mentioned RLUSD, Ripple stablecoin. It surpassed $1 billion in market cap and is now a top 5 US dollar stablecoin.
In 10 months?
In 10 months. But the thing is, there's a lot of stablecoins. That market has grown really quickly, and there are a lot of questions over how many stablecoins can exist and operate safely in the current system. How do you think about this? Is there like a limit in terms of total dollar value or number of issuers?
Look, I don't think the world needs hundreds of US dollar stablecoins. I think there will be a handful of winners. I'm thrilled. I mean, you think about, we went from a standing start 10 months ago to $1 billion market cap. What people don't know is that there was a period of time in the spring of 2023 when we decided to launch our own stablecoin. In our payment flows that Ripple was enabling on an institutional basis, we were minting 20% of all USDC. And you kind of ask yourself, wait a minute, if we're minting that much of USDC, why aren't we a principal in this market? I am, again, as I said, I want Circle to continue to do well. We will focus RLUSD as an institutional, very compliant, most transparent. We're really trying to be the whitest of white hats and kind of tier 1, both in how we're regulated, how we manage our capital. And so far, I'm very pleased with that progress.
Are we at saturation point in terms of the number of stablecoins out there?
Oh, no. Well, what's going to happen, I think, is a whole bunch of people are going to launch new stablecoins, and they're going to realize, wait, what am I doing? So I think there'll be a further explosion of US dollar stablecoins. But if you don't have your stablecoin listed and have liquidity around the world on lots of venues and lots of currency pairs, it's not that interesting. So, you can launch one, but it's like, is it useful? And we have an advantage of making it useful because we are in payment flows for lots of institutions.
All right, I'm going to wrap up our conversation here and go back in time to your prior life when you worked at Yahoo.
When I was just a child.
Just a child, 2006, right? You wrote something called the Peanut Butter Manifesto. Have any of you heard of this? Yeah. Okay, all right. So you know that
one of the editors is right there. He worked with me at Yahoo.
All right. The gist of it is that to focus on your core business rather than spreading yourself too thin, like peanut butter. What would spreading Ripple too thin look like?
Well, I do think about this. I'll give you 2 quick thoughts. When I joined Ripple in the spring of 2015, Ripple was thinking about how to use the XRP ledger for multiple different use cases. There was an effort around smart contracts called Codius. There was an effort around identity, and there's an effort around payments. And one of the first things I said is like, okay, we're picking one. And there was it's kind of the peanut butter dynamic. Like, you can't compete in all of these. We have to decide. I mean, we're a bigger company now. We could do more, but at the time, we had fewer than 100 people, and we weren't going to be able to compete in each. Now, I do think about, as we expand and our breadth of services expands, we want to make sure we don't spread ourselves thin. And I think really, even in your question about should we enter the exchange business, that feels like spreading ourselves too thin. Staying focused on the infrastructure, the institutional infrastructure on blockchain, I think is a massive market opportunity. And I think we're nowhere near scratching the surface of like penetration and saturation of that market. So we will stay focused there, and I hopefully avoid a peanut butter problem.
Does the Peanut Butter Manifesto apply to the crypto industry at large also?
No, I mean, look, I think blockchains and crypto, I think, are going to rewire massive parts of financial infrastructure. I think the benefit of companies is to pick your lane, pick where you want to be the best. And that last panel, I think there's some really talented entrepreneurs building amazing businesses focusing on their piece. And the overall industry, there's just so many different use cases where you can improve the efficiency of transactions, make things less expensive, faster by leveraging blockchains. That doesn't feel like a peanut butter problem.
All right, good stuff. Brad Garlinghouse, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Guys, worst time to leave. Do not click off the show. Do not click off the show. Give me 5 minutes of your time. Give me 5 minutes of your time. This is Brad Garlinghouse, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. So before I let you all go from Swell 2025, I just want to wrap things up with a few closing words and somewhat personal words about the journey, if you will. So as I mentioned this morning, this is our 9th Swell. Some of you remember, there are a few people that were here for part of this, but the concept of Swell popped up in 2017, and it was the reaction to Swift wouldn't let us attend Sibos. Some people don't know, it's a true story. We couldn't get space, a booth at Sibos. And so we decided, this was in Toronto, and we decided, Sibos, the land of big banks, we were the disruptors, literally. So we went down the street, we hosted our own event, and admittedly, it was a little bit of a warehouse. It wasn't nearly what we have today, but it was anchored by speakers like Ben Bernanke. And I think very quickly Swift regretted their decision because they created more of a monster by pushing us out. Well, 9 years later, the world looks profoundly different. Some of the biggest financial institutions in the world are here in this room with us. But it's not just them. We have the prime brokers, the application builders, the investment banks, the ETF issuers, as we just discussed, and everyone in between. Crypto and blockchain have moved from being taboo words to being part of the fabric of society. And let's be clear, you are all part of this movement. In fact, you all are this movement. So thank you.
That's you guys too. You guys too.
I am beyond grateful to have witnessed this fundamental shift in how the financial layer of the internet is changing and evolving. The work is nowhere near done, but if the conversations over the last 2 days have proven anything, it's that although we have come a very long way, we are all just getting started. I've said this before, but it is truly, and I say this somewhat humorously, an amazing time to be alive. We are witnessing the rewiring of financial infrastructure. We're witnessing enabling things that were simply not possible before. It truly is, I believe, the economic opportunity of a lifetime to enable and catalyze this rewiring. I'm extremely proud that Ripple has been leading from the front, both with lawsuits, but in a lot of other ways as well. So for over a decade, we've been leading with transparency, we've been leading with a compliance-first posture, and we've been leading with the goal of championing not just XRP, but the entire industry. I feel extremely lucky to have had the privilege of leading this company, and of course, an honor to be part of the larger XRP community. All right, so before I sign off and let everyone get snacks and drinks, one important public service announcement. I'm excited to share with you guys that our 10th Swell is going to be a little bit different. As you guys know, the Swell has tended to cater towards the institutional audience. We've had separate events like Apex that is catered to developers. But we are excited to expand Swell to include not just financial institutions and payment providers or asset managers, but bring in the developers, bring in the investors, bring in the researchers, bring in the academics, and the broader XRP community who we've hosted at other events. This is going to be one single beacon event. Will be hosted by Ripple next year, back here in New York City, and we look forward to welcoming you all there next fall.
Don't click off the show. Give me 5 minutes of your time. Don't go anywhere.
With that, I'm going to end with, Ripple has been ready for this moment. The XRP community has been ready for this moment. I'm thrilled you are on this journey with us. It is definitely happening. Thank you very much.
Okay, 5 minutes of your time. Don't click off. Stay here. That was the end of Ripple Swell 2025. Thank you guys for tuning in. Exclusive, well, not exclusive, but coverage from us here. 2 days. No one else was live for 10 hours yesterday, 10 hours today now. This is a new stream. That's why it only shows we've been live for 44 minutes. But if you look at the stream previously, that was live for 9 hours. So 10 hours yesterday, 10 hours today, bringing you all the Ripple Swell event. We were looking, researching throughout that whole time, giving you analysis throughout it. So if you could give me 5 minutes of time, that would be incredible. So firstly, I want to thank all the people watching. That's the members. That's the people that supported through Super Chats. That's the subscribers who liked. That's the viewers. Thank you for choosing us to watch. There is so many scam streams out there right now. Please do not send XRP to anyone. Don't scan QR codes. Don't fall for impersonators. There is no such thing as quick money. There's no such thing as making money in a second. That's what they promise you, and it's fake. So firstly, please don't do that. We care about our audience. Secondly, there is so many YouTubers out there that are promising you $1,000 XRP, $589 XRP, $200 XRP tomorrow. They're telling you all fake news on X. Please stop listening to them. You can do what you like, but if they keep promising you something and it never comes true, there's something wrong. They are playing with your emotions. They are making you FOMO in at the worst times. They are making you panic sell because you're not confident in your investment. We do things differently here. We care about our community. I care about you, the subscriber. I care about you, the viewer. I care about you, the members. And we put research into everything we say. We do 4 hours of research every morning, and I'll tell you how you can get all of that research in a second. We're giving it to you for free. We don't take corporate sponsorship. Martyn turns down, he's the owner of this channel. You'll see him on this channel. I'm sure you've seen him before. Martyn turns down $30,000 deals. Why? Because we won't sell ourselves out. The reason I chose Martyn to partner up with, to come and stream with, the reason Martyn chose me is because we care about our audience. We're on the same path. We don't care about the money. If you do something right, the money will come. So we won't take corporate sponsorship, so we can, we won't be bought out by anyone. No one can buy us on this channel. That's why around the screen, I'll take this away, we don't have any sponsors. We have, the only sponsors we have are the people that pay $99 a month as members, and that's not corporate sponsors. We don't take corporate sponsors. We don't have leverage trade platforms. Go to any other channel and they'll be selling you leverage trading. What does that mean? They want you to sign up with a link so that when you lose money, and the reason I say lose is because 99% of people that day trade lose money, and people that are new to crypto lose money. That's why I say lose. So when people lose money, they still make money. If you leverage trade and lose money and take the bonus, the person telling you to sign up makes money. Secondly, they might be promoting fake exchanges. That's happened time and time again. FTX, how many people promoted that? How many people are promoting obscure exchanges right now, telling you to use VPNs and stuff? So don't. They take their money from that. That means they have to have a specific narrative. They care about money. They don't care about you. Thirdly, they make videos. We don't make videos. They make videos. They don't have a connection with their audience. Thank you so much, poor man to rich man. I'll read that out in a second. Really appreciate it. They make videos. They have no connection with the audience. I always have the chat front and center. I care about the audience. And we look at, we respond to the audience. We have a great community here. So if you are a real investor, join this channel, subscribe. That's free. Hit the like button. That's free. And if you want to go one step further and get something else for free, which is ending as soon as this live stream ends, this will end. Today is the final day. We've never done it before, and it's a special for the Ripple Swell. It's the 60 days free. 60 days free of our research. This is our show notes. This is what we base our shows off. This is our research. This is what I spend 4 hours every day doing. I've been awake since 9 o'clock this morning, 8 o'clock. Well, I've been awake since 8, but researching from 9 o'clock until we went live at around 2 o'clock. It's now 10 o'clock. So we've been live the whole day researching and bringing you content. And this is what I do every single morning. I quit my job so I can bring you this news because of the fake YouTubers, because of the sponsorship on any other news platform, because of the fake news on X. So I bring you this newsletter every day. You can get it 60 days for free. The link is in. And stand by, we're giving you $2,000 worth of XRP for free. This is not fake giveaways like other channels. We're giving it to you for free here on this channel. I'll tell you all about that right after I tell you about this newsletter. So You get 60 days free. The link is live in the chat right now. What is this newsletter? Every single day, you get a newsletter like this. You get the top stories at a glance. That's financial stories, stock market stories, Ripple stories, XRP stories, crypto stories. Every single day, you get it at a glance. You can just look at your phone. You've got the news for the day at a glance. If you want to dive deeper, you've got the one big thing, the money move of the day, the market snapshot, the 5 things you need to know every day with all the sources, all the real news, no ads. You can see no ads in this newsletter. Then you can go on to the deep dive. This is about macro news, whether it's data being released from the Fed, whether it's FOMC meetings, whether it's Ripple events like today, whether it's stock reviews and crypto reviews. You get that in the deep dive every single trading day. Saturday, you get the FTOLs. Sunday is maybe the only day you don't get a newsletter. Might be a nice break for you guys. You can get it on your mobile phone, you can get it on the web, or you can choose to get it in your mail. You can get it on all 3 if you like. The deep dive yesterday, and if you sign up now, you can go and see the deep dive from today. You can go back to all the newsletters we've ever put out. Was the 20 things you missed from day 1 of Ripple. So you can go through, see what you missed, and start understanding what you're investing in. Once you understand what you're investing in, you'll be like me. If it goes down, you're even happier than when it goes up because you understand your investment. We never give financial advice, but I'm confident in my investment, and because I do all this research, I'm even more confident in my investment. So when it goes down, I buy in. You get the economic calendar as well. You get the earnings calendar. You get the chart of the day. Today is all about XRP, the support levels and the resistance levels, the levels I'm looking to buy. You also get direct messaging access to me 24/7. You can direct message me on it. You get the full archive. You get the Saturday newsletters. You get the portfolio journal that is coming up soon before the end of before 2026. I'm going to be showing you my portfolio live on there. This is not a alerts situation. I'm not giving alerts. I don't like it when people give alerts because it's not worth just following someone's portfolio. Everyone's interests are different. This one, you can see why I own something, the full research I put behind it, and it will be live for you guys to see on YouTube. So that will also be on the newsletter, why what I'm researching. So get it 60 days free. There is nothing like this out there. This is, if I subscribe to about 12 different news agencies so I can get you the best news every single day. So here we go, 60 days free. Go and take advantage of it. It's absolutely free. Sign up to the annual plan. You can cancel it beforehand. But there is what I want to say. The last thing I want to tell you about is our $2,000 giveaway. We're giving away XRP live on the show, $2,000 worth of XRP sent directly to you on the show. This is not fake. This is not scammers. Anyone else? Most 99% of the giveaways I've seen on X are fake. 99% of the giveaways I've seen on YouTube are fake. People just want to scam you. We don't want to do that. This is free to enter, free for all. I'm not asking you to send any money. The only thing you have to do is go to this website, martynlucas.com/giveaway. Thank you, Yolanda, for saying the newsletter is so worth it. It's actually so valuable. Thank you guys for saying that. Everyone who has a newsletter loves a newsletter, and I really do appreciate it. If you go over to martynlucas.com/giveaway, that's where you can enter to win $2,000 worth of XRP. Let me bring you to this page over here. This is where it takes you. You type in your email, you log in, and then you can do one entry. You can win with just one ticket, or you can do them all. So you can go down the list. Thank you, Trent MC. Thank you forever for the honest analysis. I really do appreciate the $9.99. Remember, this is how we make money, is through fan funding, not through corporate sponsorship. So I really do appreciate anyone who becomes a member of the channel, does super chats, become a member of the newsletter. Here is the giveaway, free to enter, free for all, $2,000. You can go down the list. You probably already do some of them already. You probably already follow Martyn. You probably already follow Vaz. You probably already reposted us earlier. If you haven't, you can do it directly here. If you have, then just go claim your tickets. You can win with just one ticket. And we can play it out to you live on the show. So do check out the giveaway as well. Now, we've been live for 2 days straight. I'm going to do a full analysis of Swell. You might see this come out later as its own video, so don't get confused. I'm going to put it out for anyone who missed it. So thank you, everyone. We're going over to an important event. It's all about EVTOLs. What are EVTOLs, EVTOLs? This is a new industry that everyone's sleeping on. This is like crypto back when it began. I like these industries. I like crypto because it's innovation. I liked Tesla back in the day because it was in 2018 because everyone thought it would fail and no one thought electric vehicles would take off. Not metaphorically, but they did. And now there's this new industry. Right now we're covering Joby. It's live right now. So where this show will take you to is directly to that event. Vaz is covering it. Vaz is a broadcaster on this channel. He's the expert on EVTOLs. Go in there and at least say hi. Have a look at what Vaz, he'll welcome you into the show. This will automatically take you there. So thank you everyone for tuning in. do subscribe, do hit the like button, and I hope to see you all here again. I go live every single morning, 2 hours before the opening bell for my opening show, so watch me tomorrow because I'll give you the full swell analysis. Yeah, thanks to the wife for supporting me for these last 2 days. She's probably wondering where I am right now. Plus, Vaz will tell you why I bought even. Yeah, Martyn has just made a big call. He's bought Vertical Aerospace. He's quite confident in that investment. Vaz is going to tell you why that is, why he's buying into that and why Martyn is buying into it. We're going there now. Here is, what's this link I'm going to give you now? That's the giveaway link. That's the newsletter link. I'll make sure it's in the first link in the description as well. And here is the link of where we are going now. So this is Vaz live right now. Please go in and say hello. He is doing, he'll tell you all about flying taxis. That's a little thing there. So there is Vaz's link. Go there now. If you stay where you are in 2 minutes time, it will automatically redirect you there. So Vaz is going to tell you why Martyn, owner of this channel, has just bought Vertical Aerospace. Go there right now. Something might be happening on Friday. We're expecting maybe a pop-up. Again, not financial advice. Martyn's done it with a small part of his portfolio. I've done it with a small part of my portfolio. Maybe Vaz has done it with a large part of his portfolio, but it's never financial advice here. We just want to give you all the information, and Vaz has formed connections and is giving you some information. So now over to Vaz. We have been live nearly 10 hours. So there's the link for Vaz. Thank you guys for tuning in. Swell 2025 is finished. We look forward to 2026 and we look forward to XRP's price action, which is now back above $2.30, which is great. Until next time, I think we're back. Just as we're about to end, take care of yourselves and each other. Go straight over to Vaz. Link is in the comment section. Bye-bye.